Thank you, Mr. Speaker. You know, issues of life and death are extremely important and very emotional for all of us. Many of us have children. Many of us are uncles or aunts. We are all someone's child. And all of us obviously were babies one time in our mother's womb. Many of our most impassioned debates on this floor are about this topic, abortion, and I am proudly pro-life. I come from the Love Them Both movement, recognizing the dignity of the mom and the baby. Today, Mr. Speaker, I rise in the spirit of love and in the spirit of respect for the dignity of the mother. And with that, I'm going to ask the clerk to call Floor Amendment 4.
Mr. Clerk, please report.
House Floor Amendment 4 to Senate Bill 9.
Gentleman from Jefferson, 33.
Mr. Speaker, like my friend, the gentleman from Perry, mentioned, he shared a personal story just now. I have a 13-year-old, a 10-year-old, and an 8-year-old, 3 sons. And before we had our first son, we went through fertility treatment, and I remember the first heartbeat I ever heard in my wife's womb. It was a beautiful sound. We've all heard it. All parents have heard it for sure. And I remember when we went back and it wasn't there anymore, and we grieved that loss. And she was at a stage, my wife was at a stage where she could get the baby extracted from DNC procedure after the baby had died. This past week, Mr. Speaker, an acquaintance of mine brought to my attention a very personal story of him and his wife. His name is Robert. His wife is named Kelsey. They were undergoing fertility treatment some time ago, a number of months ago. They wanted a baby, and they want a baby badly. Coming up on about 20 weeks, they go back to Kelsey's OB. And Kelsey's OB says, there's a problem. The heart is beating, but the brain didn't develop. The limbs weren't moving. The baby wouldn't survive. The baby would die in utero or after death, but it wouldn't survive. I remember that pain. I feel for Robert and Kelsey. They decided to terminate the pregnancy that wouldn't have survived, wouldn't have produced a live baby. What a terrible choice that they had to make. My wife and I have talked about it a lot over the weekend. I don't know, they were about 18 weeks pregnant. She would have had to carry it 22 more weeks, 22 more agonizing weeks. My wife and I have talked about this over the weekend. I don't know if we would carry the baby. One time I talked to Leslie, my wife, we think we would. One time we say I don't know. But what I do know is that Robert and Kelsey made the decision that was right for them to terminate their pregnancy in a baby that wasn't going to survive. I have voted for every pro-life bill on this floor. I will vote for this bill. I'm pro-life. I pray for the day when the Supreme Court does what a lot of us pray that it does. But I must ask for this small grace, this kindness, and recognition of the dignity of the mother when the baby won't survive. What my floor amendment does is 2 things. It says when two physicians have found that there will be no life after birth, and they found that by definitive evidence, then the mother can terminate. The second thing it does is it requires both of those physicians, each of those physicians, to put into the record the reasons for their findings, and it must be kept for 7 years. The reason for that is we want to make sure that those findings are legitimate. I don't doubt that they will be for doctors, but we want to, as President Reagan says, trust but verify. But fundamentally, and I'm going to ask for adoption of Floor Amendment 4 in a moment, but fundamentally, Mr. Speaker, this is about justice, fairness, dignity. I know we have it. We all want to protect the baby, but in this case, the baby won't survive, and the mother ought not have to, as in Kelsey's case, carry that baby for 22 more agonizing weeks. I ask for the adoption of Floor Amendment 4.
Gentleman Perry, did you wish to speak?
Yes, sir. Yes, Mr. Speaker. While I respect the gentleman from Jefferson, and I understand that bad things happen to good people, I too have someone that during their pregnancy was given that very same news, and they chose to keep the child, and when it was born, it did die shortly thereafter. You know, I sympathize with Robert and Kelsey, I really do. And anybody that knows me knows that my heart is for people to not hurt. And I don't want to see anybody hurt. But I also know that, Mr. Speaker, this amendment, this late in session, it will basically kill Senate Bill 9. This bill, for me, is not a political gain. This bill, for me, is about the millions of babies that have been killed over the last few years, the last many years. And their voice, that heartbeat, that shows that there's life. Again, I don't want to see anybody hurt. We've all been through hurt. Every person in this room tonight has been through hurt. And we know other people who have hurt. But I can't support the amendment. And I would ask that we not support the amendment and pass Senate Bill 9 out of this House as it is. Thank you, Mr. Speaker.